Hey everybody, I just received updated information about White's Electronics metal detectors. Now, at first I saw some random posts about how they may be shutting down a plant, and because I read so much and I don't believe anything on the internet until I fact check it, I immediately ask questions, and then it was confirmed by dealers that I know, and YouTubers that are sponsored by White's Electronics. So it looks very credible and it's very sad. Here's one of the letters that I'm sure you've read, but let's just break it down and look at this. June 18, 2020, to our valued White's dealers. I am not a dealer. This was just shared by a lot of my friends and some credible sources. Some of the tubers, like I said, that deal with Whites. It says at this excuse me, this is a very difficult message to write, but at this time has come for retirement from White's Electronics. We are suspending manufacturing operations at our Sweet Home facility while we reevaluate the future of the company. Now, that doesn't look good. My first thought is they're totally out of business, but then when I reread it, we're going to reevaluate. So I'm really hoping that they don't go away. It is an American brand, and it would just be sad to see another one go. And one of the oldest metal detecting companies. Let's continue. It is never easy to make these decisions. However, we are faced with the reality of intense competition in the industry and ongoing counterfeit instruments coming from China. Now, I am familiar with this. Um, if you shop on eBay, on Amazon, not everything that comes off of there, if it's a private seller, if something has no reviews on it, you got to be really careful what you buy. It could be a mock-up, and that is just rampant through almost every industry, not just metal detectors, all electronics, makeup, clothing. There's a lot of fakes out there. That's one of the bad things about the internet. And I could see how it could make a small operation. Well, they're not that small, but it definitely puts a dent into their success. Nevertheless, the other brands, Nocta, MindLab, and Garrett, who obviously have a great public relations and advertising. To add on top of that, the COVID crisis and the knockoffs, it has to be hard. There have been a lot of metal detectors that have come out that are cheaper and they do great things. That could be another issue with keeping up with the technology. So let's continue. Lastly, there have been critical material shortages since the COVID-19 shutdown that we have now find insurmountable. All of us here at Sweet Home are grateful for your service. We consider each of you a part of the White's extended family. Sincerely, Ken White. This is just a tragedy. Hey guys, usually I never do like reviews of anything that I'm not familiar with, but since White's Electronics metal detectors have been a big part of my channel and how I pretty much started, I just wanted to talk about it a little bit. So I had a hand me down when I first started metal detecting, a Titan my dad gave me when I went on vacation to Ocean City, Maryland. I got hooked. What they call the bug. Got the bug, you want to keep doing it. So I was in the market. It was really cold and winter out. Couldn't really do anything. I was in the market of buying a metal detector. So did like everybody does, go on the internet. This definitely plays a role for a new person who's getting into the hobby. They're looking at what all the top dogs are using. So I immediately at that time was attracted to Garrett. I haven't used it. I used their pinpointer, but I was seeing so many of the big guys using it. They are great machines. But went to a Christmas party at one of my clubs, Deep Search Metal Detecting Club in Edison, New Jersey. Bought a raffle ticket. Might have bought 2 raffle tickets, and I won the White's MX Sport. I felt like I hit the lotto. I was so excited. I was like, oh, great, I don't have to buy a new detector. Now, people like me that's really into the hobby, I want to try every detector. But as somebody who's starting out, I could see them buying what the popular YouTube channels are buying, what they're seeing people use. Even if they're great, if people are pushing it and showing the great things about it, people are more inclined to get that brand. Price also plays a factor in that later on. As you see, there's new detectors coming out. They're cheaper. They do good things. That being said, just White's does have good YouTube channels that use it. I guess they're called affiliates or team members. I don't know the right term. It seems to me there's other brands that more effective in getting the message out. Now, White's MX Sport, first day on Staten Island. Went to an area that's been pounded to death probably for at least 30, 40 years. First day, King George coin pops up. Excuse me. King George coin, first day. Not going to say that happens every time. White's MX Sport in the woods of Staten Island with my friend Steve. Great metal detectorist. Couldn't believe it. I think I found my most bucket listers with the White's MX Sport. Found King George coin, found large cent, found a awesome buckles, a seated quarter that was burnt, but I got the date off of it. Yeah, and got a thimble 18 inches to 2 feet down, this big, in the woods. That's insane. Salt water, not great on the beach for that machine, but I would say every machine does, or metal detector does, has a job, has a purpose, like a tool. You know, like a hammer could do a bunch of things, but you have other tools that you could use. Fix my computer there. So, I wanted to get a beach detector. I settled on the Mind Lab Equinox, but I don't even want to talk about that. My friend Merrill, Metal Detecting NYC on YouTube, lent me his Beach Hunter. Awesome machine. Great for beaches. Didn't pick up any mineralization or iron, and I think I pulled a ring with that. So they do have great products, great brand. Um, they're going to reevaluate the company. I'm not an expert in business on that kind of a scale, but if they do regroup and come back out, got to make a new machine that's it's hard to compete with these foreign companies. Labor's cheaper overseas, and that's besides advertising, pushing the brand. It all comes down to labor. That's why a lot of these American companies, it's hard to make a buck here because we buy things from overseas TVs, but we really don't see how it's made over there and what kind of labor laws they have. So anytime I get a chance, I love to buy American. All my kids' furniture, my bedroom is American. It's when it comes to electronics, you don't really have options. So it's really sad to see this company go. I kind of want to buy something to keep them going. So yeah, just gonna give you a little bit of brief history about the company and show you some photos. Okay, guys?
All right, White's history started in 1950. During the uranium scares of 1950, many of the people were interested in searching for radioactive elements. Kenneth and Olive White were among these pioneer explorers, starting a long history of adventure and discovery. However, the only Geiger counters available at that time used headphones, and White quickly learned that headphone created problems in rattlesnake country. Oh boy. This led him to design a better product, his own Geiger counter that soon proved popular with other hunters. In 1958, the U.S. government announced it would no longer purchase uranium, quelling the demand for Geiger counters. So White changed his focus to making metal detectors. Orders and requests for information poured in and marked the beginning of the Whites we know, as well as the beginning of the modern metal detector industry. The family legacy continued. 60 years later, White's Electronics continued to build metal detectors in Sweet Home, Oregon, Under the direction of the founder's son, Kenneth R. White and Mary White, Ken continues his father's legacy of creating top-of-the-line metal detectors with the same philosophy that was so successful over 60 years ago. Give the customers quality and value and treat your employees like family. White's Electronics owns several patents as proof of its dedication to innovation and the skills of its personnel.
I love the message of how they treat their workers like family. I'm a union guy. I'm a family man, and that resonates with me. I could relate to that. And I have to say, if they regroup and come out with a new detector and keep it going, I'll be one of the first ones out there to get one from the company. If you see a good machine and it's American made, price is right, you could afford it, try to get it. I can't tell people what to do. I know what I'm gonna do. If they regroup, make good detectors, I'll be sure to get one and try it out and give it a good, honest review based on what I've gotten. And as you can see, most of my channel, as starting out, I used a White's machine and had great success. Although it's probably very annoying because I had the threshold up so long, and I'm really sorry about that. I wasn't a great metal detector starting out. And yeah, I hope the best for the company and all the workers and all the other people out of work right now during this COVID crisis. And wish the best for White's Electronics and hope to see you again. Have a good night, guys.